Hey, French horns, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at your chromatic scale. Now, if you have not previously watched the video that I did for you called Scales Introduction, go ahead and watch that video first so that you are familiar with some of the terminology that I'm going to talk about in this tutorial. So the scale sheet that I am looking at right now, if you are an in-person student, you have already received this, the 1 octave scales. If you are a virtual learner, at-home learner, you have received a 5-note scales, and this is a different sheet. So you can either use this tutorial that you're seeing in front of you with the notes on the page, or if you would prefer to download a copy of what I'm looking at here, you can go to the scales homepage, and there will be a link there that says 1 octave scales that you can pull up and print out your particular part. So I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom of the page, and this is where we will find your chromatic scale. My computer's a little finicky, but there we go. So the chromatic scale that we are going to be doing is called the C chromatic scale. And what that means is that we're going to start on C. We're going to go play all of the available notes all the way up to C on the third space of the staff, and then we're going to come all the way back down to the middle C. All right, so if you've watched the introduction to scales, then you understand already that when we play the chromatic scale, we are going to be using the sharp names on the way up the scale, and on the way back down, we will use the flat names, even though they may be playing the same sounding pitch. All right, so let's just first of all note name these notes the way they are on the page. So we're going to start with C, then we have C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, and then we're coming back down. So now we're going to use the flat names, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E flat, D flat, and C. So I'm going to roll on over here to your fingering chart. So let's take a look at that, how it looks on your fingering chart. So we're going to be using these lower fingerings here until we get to the A flat, and then we'll flip over to the other side of the horn. So I'm using open C, and then we'll be using 1 and 2 for your C sharp or D flat coming down. Then we'll do first valve for the D, middle valve for the D sharp, E open, F first valve, F sharp second, G open, and now here is where we're going to flip to the other side of the horn. So we're going to add for the A to the G sharp, trigger 2, 3, A, trigger 1 and 2, A sharp, trigger 1, B, trigger second, and then you can't see it down here because this box is covering it up, but the C is just trigger. Now let's go back down. So this time we're going to say the flat names. So C, trigger, B, trigger 2, B flat, trigger 1, A, trigger 1, 2, A flat, trigger 2, 3, and now we're going to get rid of the trigger, and we are down on the lower here. So this is G open, G flat 2, F first valve, E open, E flat second, D first valve, D flat 1 and 2, and C open. All right, so I'm going to perform this scale for you. I am going to go ahead and leave the fingering chart up here so that you can see what I'm doing. So follow along as we start with C, if you'd like to finger with me, and then you can play that also slowly. All right, so here is starting C. Trigger. No trigger. Now, I'm going to play that a little bit faster for you. Something I wanted to point out on your scale page. This scale, this chromatic scale, should also have a slur on the way back down. It is a misprint that it is not there. So it should look like this on the way down. So we will perform it tongued all the way up to the C. We'll tongue the C at the top of the scale, and then on the way down, it's just going to be air and fingers as we come down to the bottom. All right, so, sorry, wrong page. This one. Let's do that a little bit faster now. 1, 2, 3. Now, you're getting ready as you approach the end of your first year of study to do an audition for next year's bands. This is a very important part of your audition. So as long as you are studying to play your instrument through high school and on, if you continue through at more advanced levels of study, you will always be auditioning using your chromatic scale. So make sure you give appropriate attention to this scale. Start slowly. Use your fingering chart to help you in the beginning. If you have notes that are unfamiliar, it's okay to write in a note here or there on your scale sheet. If you need to remind yourself of one of the fingerings, go ahead and do that. Just don't write in every single one, because you don't need to write every single one, because you know most of these. It's just a few of them that are maybe unfamiliar. So good luck as you are practicing this, and we will see you on the next video.